Hi everybody, this is just a little extra video I'm putting out. A little bit of a musical musing maybe. I want to talk about live music in the time of COVID, or the lack thereof. Now, as a regular gig goer and as a musician myself, this whole kind of loss of live music in the UK and in other parts of the world, I presume, has been a right pain in the jacksie. It should have been quite a good year for me. I'm in two bands. My main band, Alien Stash Tin, just before the COVID crisis hit, we released an EP. We were planning a fairly substantial number of dates throughout the summer to promote it, and including a couple of festival appearances, all gone by the board. And then my other band, my punk band, Zob, we were in the process of recording our debut album, and although we've managed to kind of continue progress on the album at a very much reduced rate, owing to the number of people we can get in the studio at one time and dodging sort of like various stage level 97 lockdown kind of things, the live dates we had planned as well, again, all gone by the board. Now, it's a pain in the bum for us musicians. I mean, I'm not a professional musician. I'm sort of like paid amateur, maybe. I don't make much income from live music. It's just a bit of extra spending money that I get, but that's gone. But and it's not just the fact that I'm bemoaning the fact that I can't go down to my local venue and jump around to a couple of punk bands. What is really concerning me about this whole thing is the venues themselves. A good friend of mine, a guy called David McDonald, runs a venue in Bristol called the Thunderbolt. Now, like many pubs across the UK, he's had to close because of lockdown and social distancing. Sort of like measures and that kind of thing. However, he's in a rather difficult position, as are quite a few venues around the country, and I presume worldwide. You see, a lot of pubs that you play in, they're pubs. They're just bog standard pubs, so the live music's just one string to their bow. They do meals, they do booze, etc. They're open pub quizzes, etc. They can work their way around lockdown. I mean, like the Griffin in Bristol's managed to set themselves up a beer delivery service. So, with their real ales, you can phone up the Griffin and they'll send the bloke out in a cart to drop off a couple of pints of your favourite tipple at your front door. Other venues, Louisiana has always had a reputation of being a bit of a meal pub as well. It's another good venue in Bristol. Same with the Fleece, they can do meals, etc. However, the Thunderbolt is one of these venues that exists purely as a live music venue. It is only open when there is live music being performed, and with no live music, there's no reason for it to open. It's not in the kind of geographical location where it gets much passing trade of people just dropping in for a pint. The houses it used to serve have long since been demolished, and so it's got no kind of local kind of popping out for a quick half trade. So basically, poor Dave is knackered. He hasn't been able to open his venue since March. Now I know what you're saying. So what? I mean, but you shouldn't be thinking like that. It's kind of, the Thunderbolt is a fantastic music venue, and like I said, I'm using the Thunderbolt in this example, and this time as an example. This is being repeated, like I know of, by many venues all over the country. Now, with no income, he can't pay his bar staff, he can't pay his bills, he can't pay, general maintenance and upkeep on the building. The entire guy's income has been cut off, and there is no kind of way he can compensate. You can't suddenly take a pub that's just got a reputation of being a live music venue and suddenly turn it into a gastro pub serving meals. That takes outlay, which they haven't got the money for, or maybe even the facilities for. So, you know, and there's a real danger that the Thunderbolt and other venues in this kind of category, as well as some of the other just general pubs that kind of live music venues, could well go tits up, go under, close. Now, needless to say, this isn't going to be very good for anyone as either a musician or a punter. You know, because, you know, these venues, you know, and it's okay, the government talking about, you know, they did experiments with Frank Carter, didn't they, in the, or whatever his name was, in the sort of like Brixton Academy, you know, they want social distancing. You can't do that in a pub with a 120 capacity venue. Yet it's these 120 capacity venues, etc., these little pub venues that kind of are the launching pad for many a band's career. I mean, the Thunderbolt has had, you know, not only is it kind of like one of the major venues on the local circuit, gets quite a lot of touring bands in there, you know. Justin Sullivan from New Model Army plays there quite regularly when he does his solo tours. People like Alan Clayson and the Argonauts play there regularly. It's, you know, they've even had like the Georgia Satellites there over recent years. You know, so it's these kind of little intimate venues that will be a massive loss if they go under. And I know what you're saying, you know, if a venue closes, someone else will open up to take its place, market balance, etc., which is maybe true, but there's one thing that you've got to realise. This, as a musician, is something that I feel is really important. When you turn up at a venue, it's good to know that the venue and the venue staff know what they're doing. I mean, you go to play at the Thunderbolt, the place has been running for 15, 20 years now as a dedicated live music hosting place. You turn up, you've got a couple of regular sound engineers. You get one of them who knows what they're doing. They know how to stage manage. They know how to kind of timetable sound checks. They know how to kind of fault find in the system. It's an in-house PA with in-house lighting. Anything that's wrong, you know what plugs what to replace it. And it all runs nice and smooth, you know, and you know, you can normally hit the stage on time with the audience in without the audience having to witness your sound check, etc. I have played other venues that are experimenting with bringing on live music, and you know, it's a learning curve. Unless you know how to handle bands, and unless you all know how to be prepared for the foibles of amps blowing up, PA's feedback in and out to cure it, etc., you know, it can be a nightmare if the venue owner and that doesn't know what's going on or how it works, or they don't know the kind of foibles. I mean, you know, I went to see a couple of punk bands a good few years ago now in a Bristol venue. It was their first ever live gig. They booked a couple of hardcore punk bands, and then the bar staff and the landlord got really shirty when there's a mosh pit develops. So, you know, you don't get that at the Thunderbolt. They know how to expect it. They know the security know how to handle kind of over enthusiastic punters. And if these venues like the Thunderbolt or the Hole in the Wall in Manchester, and that was another one that's in trouble, or the Dragonfly in Pontypool go under, you're losing that expertise. It's going to reset the live music scene. It's going to be a pain in the arse for the bands and the punters and everybody, really. Now, I know I'm speaking for the Thunderbolt, but I know other bands have got similar kind of things in place. The Thunderbolt, Dave has got together with a couple of other music venue owners, people that run the Exchange in Bristol and Louisiana and the Fleece, all of which are kind of well-established venues. They released a single called Save Our Venues. I'll put the link to where you can download it off Bandcamp down in the description. And, you know, money's raised, help will hopefully keep the Thunderbolt over the next few months until, you know, maybe Easter time, when these new promised vaccines cut in and we can start getting back to having live gigs in proper venues again. So there are other things going ahead as well. I mean, I know there's talk of bands coming together, putting out a compilation CD you can download for a few quid. It celebrates what the venue's done, but can help keep the finances coming in. Now, I know the Thunderbolt and other venues have got crowdfunding campaigns to keep their heads above water. So I plead with you, look after your local venue. They have helped you over the years. They've given you entertainment. If you're a musician, they've given you a platform to perform your music on. If you're a punter, they provided the venues for some bloody good nights out. I know I've had some cracking nights at the Thunderbolt, both playing and just going along to see live shows. So, you know, it's time to give some of the love back. You know, if you're in Bristol or if you're in the southwest, support the Thunderbolt, or find out where your local music venues are. Find out whether they've got anything on that needs your help. Support them, and then when all this crisis is over, if you're a band, volunteer to do some benefit gigs to pay off these loans and debts that they have run up. You know, if you're a punter, just get down there as many gigs as you can, because, you know, how much does it cost to go? You know, I'll try and go and see a gig every week or two. Not just playing, just going along to sort of attend. Yeah, and I reckon I'll spend about 10-15 quid, because, you know, local pub venues aren't a vast amount of money to get into, so entry fee and a couple of beers, you know, maybe a kebab on the way home, 10, 15, 20 quid. You know, if you've got that money to spare at the moment, and I know things are tight for a lot of people, but if you have got some money to spare, chuck 'em some shekels on a kind of fairly regular basis, as if you're going to the venues to perform, to witness a gig or something. Show 'em the love. So, yeah, save our venues, please, before it's too late, because once they're gone, they're gone. Thanks for listening. Bye.